Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel if you're watching, or to the Social Media Magic Podcast if you're listening. My name is Brittany Verlinich. I'm a content strategist, social media manager, total marketing nerd. I'm the host of this show and I'm glad you're here. Today we are going to be talking about 5 ways you can use more faceless content for Instagram marketing. And I'm really excited for this because this is one big pain point or one big reason why I hear people don't want to show up online. And it's usually a variation of one of these things. I don't want to wear makeup. I don't want to change my clothes. I don't want to have to wear clothes when I'm home. Or maybe I have my bra off already and I feel self-conscious about that. I'm not super glamorous. My products don't look great. I am not in the classroom anymore, so I don't have classroom pics. Or I'm in the classroom and I don't want to show photos of students. There are so many legitimate reasons why we might not want to show our face on camera. Maybe, for example, you have a TPT store or a business or an Etsy shop and you don't want for your boss or your principal to know about it. That is a completely legit reason. But there's also a lot of mindset and fear stuff in there too. And that is legit. We all have it, right? It doesn't just magically go away at a certain point. We just get better at pushing it down, not listening to it and saying, thank you, body. Thank you, mind, for trying to keep me safe and keeping me from discomfort. I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do anyway. But more about the mindset stuff another time. What is some actual faceless content that you could create that's easy to do, that you could do at home, that you don't need a huge, big, fancy camera for? Let's talk about it. One type of content you could create is what I call a demo reel. This could be a video. It's usually an actual reel. If you're on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, it's the same thing. YouTube Short, it's a short form piece of content, video content. And basically you are just demonstrating the product. Now, let me be really clear here. There's been a lot of messaging over the past few years about social media, growing a community there, and how video is king. And it is in a way, but it's not just about creating a video. You don't just want to make a slideshow where you're flipping through the pages. That's boring. That's a good start, but that's not ultimately where we want to go. We want to use video as the vehicle, as the means of making the product come to life, to give the person who's looking at it a sense of, what is my life going to look like after using this product? How is it going to make my life, my teaching, or my practice easier? Is it going to make me feel smarter, or is it going to make me look good? Now, those are things that we're usually not consciously thinking about. Oh, my cat is moving my camera. She's laying right next to it. You can't see, obviously, from this angle. So it's a very precarious position. So these are things we want to think about when we're positioning our product, when we're creating video content. So when we create a demo reel, it could be putting the camera face down and recording what you're doing. You're recording yourself coloring, recording yourself filling something in if it's a planner or some kind of printable. If it's a digital, this is a little trickier, but not impossible. You can make video mock-ups using digital photo assets like Smart Mockups, which is now available in Canva. So if you have a Canva Pro subscription, you actually have all these other apps and tools within Canva that you can use to make your videos come to life. Related to that, if you have product photography that you've been doing for your store anyway, that is another piece of faceless content, or I should say an asset that you can use for content on Instagram. I've mentioned this on my account before, and by the way, if you're not following me, I'll be sure to put the QR code to my account up on the screen. My name is Brittany Verlinich. My handle's the same, and I actually share examples of this on there, but I have a few clients who have completely faceless accounts and they're growing. They're getting more followers, and most importantly, they're getting sales directly from Instagram, and they're using Instagram to grow their audience via their email list, which is so important. By the way, I am becoming even more obsessed with ManyChat lately. There is so much you can do with it. Just getting the auto comment responder and message responder is the tip of the iceberg, y'all. You could use it as a form of text messaging, but more about that in another video. If you're already taking photos and videos, or if you're getting someone else to get photos and videos of your products for your product listings, you have social media assets too for that. And if this is something that you've been thinking about and you're like, yeah, I know I should be taking photos, I should be getting videos, but it's something you've been putting off and you've been waffling thinking about, am I going to get on Instagram, or am I going to get serious about Instagram? Knowing that you're getting these assets for your product listings is going to be double or technically triple, quadruple usage, because you can use this on Pinterest, you can use it for your blog posts. The more original media you can create, one, it's going to tell Google that your website is legit when you do get things listed up, so it's going to be better for you for SEO and to get ranked and discovered. Two, it's going to make your content more engaging, so when it does land in front of someone, the person's more likely to interact with it, and therefore whatever platform they're seeing it on is more likely to push that content out to more people who have not discovered you yet. And three, if the content is more engaging, then it's more likely that person will take the action that is being asked in whatever the call to action is. And by the way, this goes for email too. I love email marketing. Part of the big reason I love social media is because it's helped me to have a second and third email list and then eventually grow my email list. But one thing I don't like so much is that when people are comparing email marketing with social media, we always always make it an if and or. We always make it an or thing, right? We don't usually talk about how they can work together, but they do. But when people are comparing email marketing with social media, typically to position email marketing as the more important asset, they usually say something like, hey, well, on social media, only 1% of people see your posts anyway. Let's talk about email marketing for a second. If you have 100 people on your email list, but only 50% open it, how many people are seeing the email? In theory, we don't even know if they're actually reading and scrolling. They could just look at it, glance at it, and go, and not really read it, right? Maybe they're overwhelmed in the moment, or they're opening it on a quick lunch break. So we have 50 people who have maybe seen it from your 100 total subscribers. Out of those 50 people, how many actually read it? Okay. And then out of those people who read it, how many people actually clicked on the link you have to your product? And out of all the people who clicked on the link, how many actually went to the sales page or the product listing, read through it, and then bought? When you start actually looking at your conversions and your numbers and your data like this, you actually start seeing that your conversion rate is just really small, 1 to 2%, maybe higher. If you have a higher conversion rate, by the way, we call that a click-through rate and then conversion after that, because you have all these different layers of funnels, right? If you're doing better than 1 to 2%, you should actually pat yourself on the back right now, because that's pretty hard to do. There's nothing wrong with that though. That's completely normal. In fact, those are industry standards. And I think many times when we feel like we're not doing a good job, it's because we don't know what the actual quote unquote normal or norm or benchmark is. So we don't really know what we could compare ourselves to, and we don't actually know how we're doing in comparison. So that's one good lesson from this episode, is know what data and benchmarks you're measuring yourself against. But when we look at email marketing and social media, we see they're really not that different. You have 1 to 2% of people who might actually see your post, which we could compare to a click-through rate. And then from there, how many people are actually going to go to your post, click on the link, and then take action? This is why I don't think we can rely on just having one platform. And definitely, if you're only on a marketplace, if you're only on TPT, if you're only on Amazon, or if you're only on Etsy, or even if you're only on your website, you really need to think about diversifying. Digital marketing is so much different than it was, honestly, even 2 years ago. So if you're in the classroom, maybe you can't record students, and honestly, you probably don't want to. There's so many reasons why, but could you record your desk? Could you record students' work? And again, be careful with that. Blur out anything that's important. Make sure terms and conditions of your employment there. Could you record a bulletin board? Could you record a time lapse of you decorating it and building it? That is an amazing piece of faceless content that can be really engaging and interesting to watch. And anytime we have a before and after, a total transformation, which you often see in these classrooms, it's going to do well, because that's what we love to see as people. We can often forget when we're creating social media content that we're creating content for people, right? We're all consuming content on these platforms. So are the people who are consuming ours. So we want to make sure that we know these people and we know what they like and what we like, and then what we can create. B-roll is really broad and encompasses everything. But I want you to be thinking about that. What could you show? Could you show your home office? Could you show your daily walk? There's different ways to put this together. So what I'd recommend, by the way, this is a good practice no matter what platform you're looking to grow on, set a timer for 10 minutes and go scroll. Now make sure your timer's set before that so you don't get into a scroll hole there. Spend 10 minutes just scrolling, and I want you to pay attention to what you're seeing. When you're watching a reel, are we looking at A roll, where it's face to camera, or are we looking at B roll? Are they sharing a sunset, or are they sharing something happening throughout their day? There are different types of reels too. You've probably watched different YouTube videos where there have been vlogs where someone talks about their day. Sometimes the camera's on them, sometimes the camera's on what they're doing. Sometimes it's a point of view where you see what they're seeing. By the way, many people use POV or point of view videos incorrectly on Instagram and TikTok, but the idea with the point of view is that you're seeing what the subject is supposed to be seeing, but it is a type of B-roll. And that's a piece of faceless content. Another is by using text creatively in the image itself. Now, I've shared with my members of the Graham Guild some accounts I really love who are doing completely faceless Instagram marketing really well. And one of my favorite accounts, I'll try to remember to link it here, but if not, message me and I'll try to get it to you. She never shares her face. Actually, there are a few accounts I really love for this that do that. Teacher Misery is another one I believe I've mentioned on this podcast before. Hilarious follow, especially if you're still in the classroom, you'll find a lot of it relatable. But she, I think it's actually a woman, I'm not sure. There's all kinds of content on there, never any faces shown, but you can really relate to what's being shown. And so they've amassed an amazing following. I think the last time I checked, they had 500,000 people following that account. So could you use text creatively? And again, when you're spending 10 minutes to scroll, I want you to really not just watch them and go, oh, that's cool. I want you to actually write down ideas, because seeing something, giving yourself something to respond to might give you the opportunity to think, oh, I can see how I can use this specific idea for my niche with a problem that my customer or client is facing. Now, this final type of content, and just for review, I've talked about a product demo reel, product photography and carousels and single feed posts, B-roll video, creatively using text and posts and images. And I don't mean text in the caption, text as the actual image. You can make all kinds of things in Canva. I'll try to put some examples up here on the screen if I can remember in case you're watching the YouTube video. Now, this last one should be used sparingly, but if you're just starting out, if you're getting into the habit of content creation, this can be really helpful. And you can even use this to supplement any B-roll that you don't have already existing in your phone. And that is stock video. If you go to pexels.com, Pexels.com, it's a website that has all kinds of free videos that are open to license for commercial use. This means even though you're a business owner and even though you're using them for money-making business purposes, you're welcome to use the content without having to pay any kind of ongoing royalty. And this is really great because if you are not a skilled videographer, or if it's just not a skill you feel confident or that you have practice with, you can go look for a video that tells a story or conveys a certain concept that you want to share about. Or you can use it combined with trending audio on Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok to create a video that might get some reach or relatability. But so much of this is just getting into the habit and the practice of learning how to actually create a reel or how to make a post or how to share to your stories, because I think that's one thing I don't hear many content creators or social media people talking about is how do we do the actual physical posting? Which button do I push? It can be so frustrating when you're first starting out. So that is it. That is 5 different ways to create and share faceless content on Instagram that can help you grow your email list, build your community, grow your following, and help you make more sales. We talk all about this in Graham Guild. It is the core focus. It's all about growing a following without showing your face. You can find more information on that. It's a very affordable mini membership right here in the video description or in the podcast episode description, or you can always send me a DM on Instagram over at Brittany Verlinich. I'll put that QR code up on the screen again, and you can just ask a question. I'll be happy to send that over to you. Every month, I always send my Graham Guild members some ideas for posts every day, as well as all kinds of templates and things to help them save time and plan all in one place. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Social Media Magic Podcast or for watching on the YouTube channel. I would love it if you'd go ahead and subscribe or follow wherever you're watching and listening now. Talk soon.